run with it today. I'll talk about how often you panic with your blogging campaign. Now, let's close the doors, keep it quiet. There we go. A lot of bloggers, they're moving towards success. They're becoming more successful. They're laying the foundation for their campaign. They are doing some creating, some connecting. Thumbs up. But nothing seems to be coming together for these bloggers after maybe like a month or 2 months or 3 months. So panic sets in. And once panic sets in, which is just fear in the mind, everything goes to custard. And these bloggers trade in all of their intelligent actions and generous actions, on some level are generous, for, well, failure. And this happens again and again and again on a daily basis. Some bloggers don't even go those 3 months, guys. After a week, a day, everything goes south. So you're going to have to start asking yourself, if you want to succeed as a blogger, if you want to become a professional, if you want to do this so you could circle the globe, or even do it part-time, even on a part-time basis, you're going to have to ask yourself, how often am I panicking? How often am I refusing to leave my comfort zone? How often do I do a bit of work and I start laying the foundation, and things, even if they don't appear to be coming together? There's a dog looking at me with great intensity now. A dog with severe love for owners. Hey, Shadow. How often do you just start up and everything seems like, okay, there's a little bit of excitement and potential and possibility, and then after a week or even 3 or 4 days, you're like, I don't really feel like it. Nothing's going to happen anyway. Nobody's going to follow my blog. Nobody's going to, I like the laptop back there. Nobody's going to read my blog. Nobody's going to tune in. And then panic sets in, and then you quit. And this is a really common mistake. It's a common error. It's a common mental practice. I know myself. I struggled with it for a very, very long time. I would do a bit of work and things would start to come together. But then, since there was a lot of fear in my mind, I would panic. And I'd be like, I'm not getting the results. Nobody's tuning into my videos. Nobody's buying my stuff. Nobody's visiting my blog. So in those panic moments, I would go in a few different directions. It was pretty cool. Like panic room frenzy. Sometimes I would speed up my work and figure, okay, this hasn't worked. And of course, it was working just fine. It was just the fear in my mind, like everything. But this hasn't worked. So now I am going to plow forward at 10,000 miles an hour. Hello, my friend. Good evening. And I will create 20 pieces of content a day. So if I create 20 pieces of content a day, I will succeed. I will, wave, overcome my panic. Oh, shoot. I'm gonna wave. There we go. So I would do that, and then nothing would happen. I'd panic again. It was just this cycle of the fear in my mind was manifesting in space, on the screen of space. So of course, nothing was going to happen and nothing was going to come together because I didn't face, feel, and release the fear in my mind. Until you do that, guys, the panic will continue forever. That's what most humans don't realize. And what took me a long time to realize as a blogger, and a lot of bloggers, they never realize it. Until you face the fear in your mind that's fueling the panic, that's the only element with this blogging gig. That's the only fuel for your panic. The fear will always be there. The panic will always be there, and it will be triggered. And you'll go through this cycle again and again and again. There was, I'm going to work really hard to overcome the panic. There was, I'm going to panic and quit. I would panic and I'd be like, oh, forget this. I'm not going to keep blogging. I'm wasting my time. I'm going to run out of money. It's just so depressing, and rage, anger, just grief and crying. And I went through this cycle quite a bit for a lot of my career until I finally faced the fear of losing it all at a more intimate level. It didn't feel pleasant. And I felt it and I released it. And then the panic went away because the fear in my mind went away. And when the fear went away and the panic went away, then I would just be really generous and genuine and trusting. And I didn't doubt. And I'd have coffee sometimes during live videos. A little bit of oatmeal. And not only did I just enjoy the journey, I persisted. And I noticed more success come together for me. I faced the fear in my mind, so I had no more fuel for the panic. But I had to be honest with myself and say, Ryan, what's up, dude? How often are you panicking? I had to see myself in the light of truth and really observe my mind in the light of truth. And this is a very uncomfortable process because you have to look at yourself straight up. No more excuses. No more, well, it's Google's fault, or it's Facebook's fault, or it's, I'm just not connected, or nobody's going to read my blog anyway. You can't trust your limiting beliefs. You can't give the panic power. You can't give it power. You can't lend all of your attention and energy to it and say it's got you. You just have to say, I'm panicking a lot on a daily basis, maybe on a weekly basis, maybe on a monthly basis. The problem with panicking, guys, is in terms of blogging, it's like planting a seed in the garden outside. So you have this little seed, so you plant it. And when you panic after 1 month, it is just like digging up the seed and throwing it on the concrete. And of course, when you do that, the sun will cook the seed during the day and it will die. And then you'll say to yourself, why aren't I getting any flowers? What's the deal? I don't see any flowers. And it's because you're panicking and you're digging up the seed that creates the flower. Correct? Well, with blogging, if you panic, a little darker on YouTube, if you panic with blogging, you start planting the seeds to be successful by publishing a little bit of helpful content. You're starting to build relationships by engaging in a genuine blog commenting campaign. Maybe you're even starting to monetize your blog with, say, affiliate marketing. So those are the seeds. But you have to keep the seed in the ground and water it. You have to allow it to get sun. Have to make sure it's in good soil, and you have to be patient. You have to allow the seed to grow as you're taking these steps for days, then weeks, then months, and depending on the type of plant, for years. And let's think about something bigger. Hey, Alan. Let's think about something bigger than a flower. Let's think about a tree, maybe a shrub, but let's just think in terms of years. You can't dig it out during that time frame. You can't panic and say, oh, it's not grown. This hasn't grown after a day. This hasn't grown after a week. If it's a shrub, you know it's going to take years, months for it to come up, and then years. And blogging is the same way. You can't dig it up. Every time you panic, you're digging up your blogging seeds and you're throwing them on the concrete. The sun hits them and it cooks them. You'll never succeed, guys. You'll never, but you have to say, okay, I am panicking a lot. You want to go out? What do you want to do? You have to keep the seed planted, and you have to be patient and allow the thousands of hours and days and weeks and months and years to pass. So you could what? Allow it to grow. But everything changes when you say, okay, I have been panicking really frequently. I've been panicking on a daily basis. I've been panicking on a weekly basis. I'm doing a little bit and then I look at my results. Stop. Dog's got severe separation anxiety. So we love you, but it's obviously it's a little more of a challenge when the dog's like sitting right next to you for 12 to 16 hours a day and just staring at you. And that's the thing with Sits. And it's such a sweet, lovely dog, but obviously the videos are a little more difficult because it's just constant. Somebody, yeah, I love you, buddy, but it's just different setup. But we send love and we're compassionate and we just we roll with it, right? Our live videos take on a different complexion. You have a dog just sitting there staring at you, panting, running around. Just crazy for the amount of time. And I understand too what separation anxiety is. I've been doing a lot of houses, but this dog has the strongest case far and away. And a lot stronger since last time, but it's all good. We love him. Love him. Here. Hey, sweetie. Yeah, I'm right here. Love you. So, don't panic, guys. Hey, Linda. Good evening. Don't panic. But of course, it all starts, like with your blogging campaign, it all starts with the idea of owning panic. I am panicking. I've been panicking. How often do I panic? Quite a bit. It could come in the form of apathy where you kind of panic and you're just like, forget about it. Or it could come more in the form of like, I got to work harder. I have to work 18-hour days to overcome this loss or struggle or these problems I'm having. And when you're really in that energy, of being honest with yourself, you get to face, feel, and release the fears that fuel the panic. And once you let go of those fears, even though it feels really unpleasant, agitating, angering, and whatever comes up, it's okay. Forgive yourself. Feel these emotions, feel these fears. When you kick them out of your mind, you also kick the panic out of your mind too, because it's only the fear in your mind that's fueling the panic. That's what's cool about it. And then once the fear's gone and the panic's gone, progressively, organically, steadily, then you'll be generous. You'll be patient. That's the opposite of panicky. You'll be patient. You'll be persistent. You'll be relaxed. And this is the perfect energy upon which to build a rock solid foundation for your blogging campaign. That's when everything begins to pop with a capital P. When you move the panic to the side, you own it, you face the fears and you release it. And then from that energy, blogging gets easier and easier and easier and easier because you'll stick with it doing the simple creating and connecting for a long time. And when you stick with it and you do the simple creating and connecting for a long time, success will come to you, but you won't even be as attached to the outcomes. So you'll notice it and you'll be like, oh, cool, getting more traffic and more money and more referrals, which is awesome, but it'll be like a small part of why you're blogging. You'll be like, oh, I'm just having fun helping people and living a life of freedom. And that will all come together. And then panicking, you forever put it in your rear view. It's gone. You no longer panic. And it's just a totally different frame of mind, a totally different mindset, which is everything in blogging and in life. It's all in your mind. Like I'm looking at our lovely friend here, and there's those little agitated moments of like, whoa, that's I know it's in my mind. So then I forgive it and I let it go. And I'm like, okay, it's all good. It's all good, lovey. But you have to own when you're panicking. And I see it's a big problem with a lot of bloggers out there. The panic comes in the form of, I just have no blog traffic. I've been doing this and it doesn't work. I'm not making any money through my blog. I've been doing this and it's not working. I'm not getting any blog comments, no clients, no customers. So it's not just a simple question of, oh, do you know how I could, it's like that palpable panic, exclamation points, caps, or somebody keeps going back on a daily or weekly basis. Nothing's happening. So I could feel their panic, and it's really common. So many bloggers struggle, fail, and quit because they never get into their mind and own the fact that they're panicking. after a day, after a week, after a month. And if you don't do that, guys, you will be in the forever panic cycle. Or maybe the panicking will happen after a week, maybe after 2 weeks, maybe a month, maybe 3 months. And maybe 6 months. I've been creating and connecting Ryan. I don't really call me Rye, some people do. Like Rye Bread, one of my nicknames growing up. But I've been creating and connecting for 6 months and nothing's happening. And this panic sets in their mind because of the fear in their mind, and they quit for another 3 to 6 months, and then they go backwards, or they start spamming, or they start publishing a high volume of very thin, low quality content. And then if you're there, forget about it. Struggle and failure are imminent. You're gonna fail when you publish a whole bunch of low quality, thin content, thinking that's what's going to help you succeed, because people aren't looking for that. People are going to help you succeed. And they're not looking for low quality, thin content. They're looking for helpful, meatier content, more thorough. Because you have to face the fear in your mind to cut the legs off of the panic habit. And you have to own it. Because when you're not panicking and you're blogging from a patient energy, it's generous and relaxed, then you're going to publish more in-depth content. Well, comment too. Content. You're going to add more details. You'll be more thorough in what you're doing. You'll be more generous. You'll trust in yourself and you'll trust in the blogging process. And you'll be patient, along with being generous and persistent. And once you have generosity and patience and persistence down, then success is just a matter of time. You'll be relaxed, you'll be chill, and success will flow to you. Then as it's flowing to you, not that you would have panicked anyway, but you may even become a little more relaxed because you're like, okay, I'm pretty chill. And now I'm seeing doing these simple things generously for a long time by being patient and relaxed is what brings us success. It's not complex. It's creating videos like this, and then I'm not panicking and rushing ahead. I simulcast, put it on YouTube for a few viewers, put it on Facebook for more viewers, put it on Anchor. So I'm simulcasting along 3 channels. It's because I'm thinking and not rushing ahead. I'm leveraging. This is just an example of when you have the proper mindset, and you have to develop it, guys. For most of us, this does not occur organically. We have a lot of head trash. We have a lot of fear in our minds, which fuels this panic. This is why people don't even try blogging in the first place. There's almost like a pre-blogging panic. Well, I'm thinking of starting a blog to share my thoughts and maybe to help some folks, but what do I know? And it's like instant. It's like, boom. Hey, Rita. You have to get through that, guys, and you get through that by facing the fears. Oatmeal for breakfast. That fuel the panic. Once you do that, it's uncomfortable, but you become more patient just organically. As you become more patient, more generous, more relaxed, and just go really slowly, you have this idea of having all the time in the world, more firmly ensconced in your mind, then this gig gets easier and easier because you realize it really is like what I'm preaching. It's doing simple things for a long time. Creating this video and simulcasting it on YouTube and Facebook and Anchor as a podcast, that's very simple. Of course, I had to practice a long time to have this knowledge and these whatever skills I have, presentation-wise and confidence. Hey, my friend. But hey, my friend, good evening. Here you go. It's just doing simple things for a very long time. And if you do those simple things for a very long time because you're patient and you don't panic, the success comes. And it's also dwelling on that idea as you're facing, okay, I've been panicking a lot with my blogging campaign. Am I doing simple things for a long time? And when you, across the board, observe yourself, you'll probably say, quickly, sooner than later, no. And that's okay, because you have to own that. You'll say, okay, I'm doing simple things for a real short period of time, but I know it's a long time. Or you may say, well, I started doing simple things, but then I panicked and then I tried to make things complex. So you were publishing helpful 600 to 700 word blog posts, maybe 800 word blog posts. Simple, that solve your readers' problems. Great job. You're doing that for maybe 3 months, maybe one post a week. But then if the panic kicks in because of the fear in your mind, then you try to write when you just don't have the skills yet. And just in general, it's just coming from a forced energy. A viral post that's 3,000 words and you spend a week writing it and you get so attached to it from an energy of fear, and then you publish it, and what happens? It bombs. Why? Because you panicked. The fear in your mind, even as you're writing the post and as you're publishing it, you're like, this post isn't going to do anything anyway. Or you do a crappy job. You might do a good job, you might do a crappy job. But even if you do a pretty good job with it, all the fear in your mind colors that post. That's what so few human beings get. Your whole life is your whole mind. That's all that it is. But forget about that. Forget about the tension and the strain and doing a pretty good job, but just failing anyway with it. Most bloggers do a really terrible job because they try to make blogging complex. And when you try to make blogging complex, you go against the real core rule. You panic, you try to make it complex, and you'll fail and quit 100% of the time. However, when you get back to, the fear in my mind is causing me to panic, and you're like, I'm breaking my rule. I'm breaking the blogging rule. Blogging is never complex. It's doing simple things generously, intelligently for a very long time. That's it. It's never complex. If blogging is complex, if it seems to be complex, you're doing it wrong. You will fail. It's not that way. It's uncomfortable though. Never confuse uncomfortable with complex. A lot of people think, no, uncomfortable is just doing a video like this, even when all the fear in your mind says, don't do it, you're wasting your time. But when you don't panic, you don't hear that voice as much, but you have to face the fears, guys. I'm going to roll all. Thanks so much for joining. All my friends from around the world. Rita, my friend from Laos, Linda, Alan. I love you guys. Feel free to share this video with your friends if you have any bloggers out there. Thanks for the love, the support. See you later, Facebook and Twitter. No, not Twitter, YouTube. I'm thinking here. See you later, YouTube.